Shalom, all praises, honor, and glory going to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Karkadash, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Salutation to you, Akim, that's out there pushing this truth with all honesty and sincerity by way of the highways and byways, going on the streets, teaching and preaching, and also by way of the internet. This is your brother Nayab, and I'm back with another news update. So we just gonna get right into it. I might come and interrupt here and there, you know how I usually do. So we got a lot of shit that's going on. But we just gonna start playing some of these videos. How about that? All right, let's go.
Okay, I'm going to show you the capsule that we have been training in for the last few days. Here I am. See, number 2. Here on the new shepherd. I think I'm going to sing. I'm going to sing a little bit. I got to sing in space. And these are all of my astronaut girly friends. We are the Taken Up Space crew.
They never went to space.
So it possibly seems the FBI in New York has gone rogue. Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, released this letter to Kash Patel, the Director of the FBI, today. It has to do with the Epstein files. Dear Director Patel, before you came into office, I requested the full and complete files related to Jeffrey Epstein. In response to this request, I received approximately 200 pages of documents, which consisted primarily of flight logs, Epstein's list of contacts, and a list of victims' names and phone numbers. I repeatedly questioned whether this was the full set of documents responsive to my request and was repeatedly assured by the FBI that we had received the full set of documents. Late yesterday, I learned from a source that the FBI field office in New York was in possession of thousands of pages of documents related to the investigation and the indictment of Epstein. Despite my repeated requests, the FBI never disclosed the existence of these files. When you and I spoke yesterday, you were just as surprised as I was to learn this new information. By 8 a.m. tomorrow, February 28th, the FBI will deliver the full and complete Epstein files to my office, including all. So it possibly seems the FBI in New York.
What did you just say?
I think it's already happened.
What?
I think the Supreme Court is afraid to rule against Trump and take a strong stand because they know that Trump is just going to defy their court order and there isn't anything they can do. So I think from here on out, kangaroo courts happen. Kangaroo court is when basically the judicial branch just becomes an extension of the executive branch and they just become like a yes man institution. So I think if the Supreme Court ruled against Trump and Trump said no, nothing would happen. So the judicial branch, it would show that they have zero authority and they don't want the people to see that that the rule of law is broken down. So from here on out, I think they will either take a really weak stance or they will just agree with whatever Trump says in fear that they will look like they have no teeth because they don't.
Liftoff. New Shepard has cleared the tower.
Those are like the guide parachutes. There go the drug parachutes.
Just free falling right there until those drugs came out.
And then next will be the main parachutes that hold out.
Hear that screaming inside the capsule?
It's all very soft landing despite the sporty perception. There it is.
We have to go there. Okay.
news in a historic
Wait, she just kissed the ground. That's dirty. Second of all, that's all CGI shit, man. I seen shit on my fucking PlayStation Vita playing God of War graphics better than the shit that they just introduced.
Trust trial. Mark Zuckerberg, the owner of Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram, and many other social sites you guys probably didn't know he owned, may be forced to sell Instagram and WhatsApp. Mark Zuckerberg may be forced in this trial to sell off. We may be free at last. Free at last. I may go back to that motherfucker. Oh, baby Jesus. He may be. I hope. I pray for the downfall. On God, I do. Is this a W or an L for this generation? Watch this video all the way through. Let me know what you think. Let's go. What's the best way for a guy to shoot? They shot at you. You like in person when you rather like somebody shoot, they shot at you. Headshot. Oh.
No, she just asked, what's the best way for a dude that, basically, if he interested, to go ahead and ask her out. This, just like a lot of these women, man, but she had ended up saying Cash App. Brothers, I'm just gonna say this: don't be giving your money out to a bitch you don't know, man. A bitch that you don't know who slept with so many dudes or anything like that, man. Don't be caught up into the bullshit, man. Continuing.
A little wire transfer, a little invoice. Okay. Chewing that gum hard. That's the best way. Straight to it. Straight to it. No, I'm with you. I mean, I'm not with you, but I like an in-person situation, but I wouldn't mind. I mean, we're in the world of like social media, so I really wouldn't mind it coming through like DMs or anything like that. But I think it needs to be direct, or it's not gonna be like properly addressed. Like, I don't like. You ever had somebody had a homeboy come to you like, "Oh, my man said," I'm like, "Are you 5? Like, yeah. Why is he coming up?" Like, is this a W or an L? Breaking. Good morning. Breaking news. Steve Bannon, the executive and former chief strategist for the White House, went on Bill Maher last night and stated Donald Trump is going to run for a third term and win and will be the president of the United States in 2029. It's like these fucking people wake up and think about how much can I ride this man. Like, at this point, we need to build a saddle. We need to build a saddle. Like, I just saw a post talking about how Donald Trump is in the best health he's ever been. He lost 20 pounds. I bet he did lose 20 pounds. All the motherfuckers riding him. God damn. He's solicited. This is solicitation at this point. They might as well arrest him for that next. Like, god damn.
How many illegal criminals are you planning on exporting to El Salvador? And President Bukele, how many are you willing to take from the U.S.?
As many as possible. And I just asked the president, it's this massive complex that he built, jail complex. I said, can you build some more of them, please? As many as we can get out of our country that were allowed in here by incompetent Joe Biden through open borders. Open borders. You probably hear open borders and you can't even understand it because nobody can understand it. Nobody smart or with common sense can understand it. So we have millions of people that should not be in this country that are dangerous. Not just people, because we have people, but we have millions of people that are murderers, drug dealers. They've been allowed to come into our country by other countries that were very smart.
And I thought this day would never come, but I want to make sure people understand we are here. Everyone's, at least I have tried to say, we're not yet in that constitutional crisis. That is what is going on right now. I mean, this really is the Rubicon that I was hoping we would never ever get to, but that Judge Ludig correctly said this was going to happen, and it has. This is where we are. It is now going to be up to the Supreme Court to actually show some steel and backbone to to find that this is in violation of their order and take as drastic steps as they can, and ideally, again, unanimously about what is happening here, or we really won't have a country left. And I thought this day would never come, but I want to make sure people understand we are here. Everyone's, at least I have tried to say, we're not yet in that constitutional crisis. That is what is going on right now.
Goofy alert. It gets to a point, Zion. So Zion Williams' baby mama decided to stalk and beat up his new chick only 2 weeks after she gave birth. Come to find out, she's been stalking Shawty since March. Don't scroll, let me explain. I'm about to show y'all how she even found out who he was messing with. Allegedly, she was using Snoop Report, and let me just tell you, this has made it harder for y'all to be unfaithful. After she found out about Shawty in March, she egged her house, threatened her. Then after she popped out the baby, she went and broke in Shawty crib, gave her the Mike Tyson special, even whipped out her keys to scratch Shawty up. Because on Snoop Report, as long as someone's page is public, they can type your username in and get a detailed rundown of everybody that you like, who just recently followed you, and who you have unfollowed. So basically, if you think your shawty or your man been liking other people's photos and following other people, yeah, this is snitching on them, 100%. But I ain't gonna lie, what shawty did, not very intelligent, because now you're about to be sitting in jail. You about to be sitting in jail for Zion Williams. It gets to a point. What do you guys think about this whole situation?
Check this out. This is Philadelphia. Look at that. They're even getting ready for a battle stance. Oh my God, look at this. Oh, look at this.
So, Britain has banned...
On that last video y'all had seen with all the the Muslims and stuff like that, it's a real big, how can I say this, movement to the US and to different countries, and they're trying to basically enforce their laws and stuff like that, their false doctrines on people. So hey, the times we in, man.
The worship of Jesus, whether you're worshiping him, praying, fellowship, anything, any kind of gathering to do with Jesus, reading the word, all that stuff, and it's a minimum of 2 years in prison. And, the people who actually pull the strings behind the shadows want that across the entire world. That's their end game. But let something be known. We have something in the United States called arms, and all the Christians of today aren't the same as what they were back in the day. We don't bend the knee. Not everybody turns the other cheek. And some of us just don't care to follow the rules. So if you want to meet Jesus yourself, or Satan, whoever you serve, we'll just fill you full of holes like Swiss cheese. And you can meet him if you ever try some dumb shit like that over here. So that's just a little public service announcement. We know it's coming at some point, but just try your luck. Try that.
Mexican military's current use of the Israeli surveillance platform
Pegasus. Yeah, Pegasus.
Wait, they're using Pegasus?
Pegasus has been implemented. I have experience with this. Pegasus has been implemented in Mexico for years now. The Israelis have a really strange presence in Mexico, as far as trading, as far as politics.
It's a strange presence everywhere.
As far as cartel activity, there's been some high-level cartel assassinations with Israeli individuals involved in Mexico. So, yeah, they're around. There was a time in the early 2000s where they were like the it people for security in Mexico. So if I'm a security agency and I need high-level anti-terrorist training, the U.S. wouldn't send people because they're afraid to bring people down. So the Israelis would come. So a lot of
the Israeli government sponsored, or companies Black.
If y'all don't know what Pegasus is, go look it up. Just type in Israeli and then type in Pegasus and then type in Israeli, and then you'll be just type it in on Google.
People would say people that came from Israeli.
Oh yeah, again, this video is for fair use only. This is for fair use only, for educational purposes only. All right, fair use is for educational purposes only. I do not earn any money off of this or anything like that. All right, I'm not getting no money. I'm not getting paid off of this. It's for fair use and educational purposes only.
The government that are now presenting themselves as contractors.
Like yeah.
Whoa. Which again, I'm not saying anything. I don't know, but I imagine that there is some shady shit going on.
You
there.
just did, so.
I mean, these are
put his hands up like Drewski, like don't worry about me.
I'm not Kanye West, right?
In other news, what some are calling a damaging blow to the passport bros, Brazil is now requiring a visa to visit if you're coming from America, along with $2,000 in your bank account. That is funds readily available, not credit, just so you all know. Like, comment, and repost. What do you think about this decision that they are calling a fair exchange since America is requiring Brazilians to have a visa? Let me know. In other news, what some are calling a damaging blow to the passport bros, Brazil is now requiring a visa to visit if you're coming from America, along with $2,000 in your bank account. That is funds readily available, not credit, just so you all know. Like, comment, and repost. What do you think about this decision that they are calling a fair exchange since America is requiring Brazilians to have a visa? Let me know. In other news,
Misgender your kid in Colorado, and you might not ever see they, them, or again. State Democrats just advanced a bill that would allow courts to take away your kids if you misgender them. So if Tommy wants to be Tammy, and you call him son, Democrats might take your kid at gunpoint like he's Elian Gonzalez.
Muslims in Australia, they're 61% of the population now. They openly say 65% of them were born outside of the country. They're asking or demanding that because they're the majority now in Australia, that their prayers be played on loudspeakers 5 times a day, 365 days a year. Australians are worried that this is a slippery slope, and if they get this, they're asking what will be next. No alcohol? It's getting pretty dicey in Australia. Again, this is what they want to take worldwide.
A 6.7 earthquake just rocked San Diego, which is in California. Always Cali. Earthquakes is happening immensely throughout different countries and states. Hands down. And a lot of people have died from it. It seems like no one wants to listen or pay attention. People want to live their best life. Them days is over, my friend. Haven't you noticed being popular, being a celeb don't mean shit anymore? At least for the believers. The only ones who believe being popular, being an upcoming rapper and a celeb still matters is the ones who are lost. The ones that are preaching and proclaiming the gospel, we already see the storm that is brewing that's coming, and we are going to be prepared and ready because it's game over. It's game over. I don't give a damn what you think, how you feel, and the way you look at it.
It's a Costco product getting lots of attention. It's called the ReadyWise Emergency Food Supply, but shoppers are calling it the Doomsday Bucket. Video from cookbook author Jeffrey Eisner discovering the buckets is going viral.
I guess this is for when the apocalypse hits, which could be any time now, right? Who knows?
The bucket is packed with 150 servings.
You have teriyaki rice, you have pasta alfredo, a cheesy macaroni, an apple cinnamon cereal, a tomato basil soup with pasta. I mean, you also have Southwest rice and beans, even vanilla pudding.
Eisner decided to give the pasta alfredo a try.
So the two things that are important are water and heat. Just told me to add 6 cups of water and the contents of the package. And step 2 is to bring it to a boil. And then it says to allow it to simmer for 15 to 20 minutes. So let's lower the heat now. Just give it another little stir here. It smells pretty good in here, actually.
He was pleasantly surprised.
It looks like a nice, rich Alfredo. I'm impressed. Like, this is impressive pasta. Fancy pasta.
New airport rules plan to get rid of boarding passes and check in and go fully digital. The way it works, passengers would download a biometric passport on their phone, drop off their luggage, and go through security after a face scan. Then you'd board the plane without showing your ticket or a passport at all. But what does that all mean for your privacy?
I'm wondering, who's in control of all this data?
Great question.
Who is going to be the one that keeps the safety of all in the airline industry in at least 50 years, airlines and airports doing away over the next 3 years with the check-in process, as well as scanning a boarding pass. That'll all go away. A biometric digital travel credential will be created, or you could use your smartphone. It's going to show your face to a scanner when you enter the airport. But what about on the other end? Who's controlling all of that? There are a lot of unanswered questions here.
Would at some point get scrubbed, get taken, get scanned, and end up in the wrong hands? Am I crazy for this to worry about it? I don't think.
Paused on this, y'all. Give it a couple seconds. Matter of fact, hold on. I got y'all.
I'm HIV positive, right? And this is just a PSA to those that are not HIV positive. Disclosure is my choice. When I disclose and how I disclose and who I disclose to is up to me. I find it so crazy how people are telling me that I need to disclose before I go on a date, that I need to disclose before I kiss somebody. This is the craziest one. Before I even tell them my name. It's not happening. I don't think that it's my responsibility to tell someone that I'm HIV positive if they are treating me as if I'm not.
And this is the problem we have with you hoes, man. You fucking 304s, you whores. You know what I'm saying? Here it is. This is a woman who's HIV positive, and she feels as though she don't need to tell nobody that she is HIV positive. She has HIV, and she feels as though she don't need to let nobody know when soon as she even tries to talk to anybody. If somebody finds her interested and want to invest into her, she feels as though she could just pass that around. This is the world that we live in, man. We got look, and the bitch not even half bad until she start opening up her mouth. You know. Now she just going around here, just giving dudes HIV, man, and then dudes like, hey man, you know what happened to people like this, man. I'm sorry, but allegedly, man, they come up missing or they be dead, man. They be dead. If you do it, man, if you give a dude HIV or AIDS, you know what I'm saying? If you gave him HIV or AIDS and he didn't even know what he was getting himself into, man, that nigga might come back and take your head off with a hatchet. But the society that we live in, these women feel like they're on a pedestal. They don't need to say anything. They feel like they don't need to take accountability for anything. And they just completely fucking delusional, man.
Your health is your responsibility. Adopt the mindset of medical practitioners. Assume that everyone has something until they prove to you that they do not. Why are you kissing a stranger or trying to kiss a stranger that you just met? Why are you trying to have intercourse with someone raw that you just met? You don't know me from a hole in a wall. Why are you trying to put your without any kind of protection? Why do I have to be the one to say, hey, chill out, I'm HIV positive, instead of you asking, taking the time to know me, get to know me, let's go get tested together if you want to take the next step. Why do I have to be the one protecting you from yourself? No, baby. That is not my responsibility. And I just wanted to make that clear. Okay, love you, bye. I'm HIV positive, right? And this is just a PSA to those.
Disgusting.
17-year-old Kamelo Anthony was silent after bonding out of the Collin County Jail and being placed on house arrest.
How is this self-defense?
2 days after the family of Austin Metcalf buried their son, they were at the Collin County Courthouse for a bond reduction hearing Monday. Kamelo Anthony is accused of stabbing and killing Metcalf at a Frisco track meet earlier this month. The case has quickly become national news, drawing a lot of attention, resulting in threats and increased security at the courthouse.
Threats and, talk of race war and all kinds of insanity isn't good for, obviously, the Anthony family. It's not good for the Metcalf family.
Cameras were not allowed inside the courtroom, but we did capture the Anthony family arriving. His father, Andrew, testified in the hearing. District Court Judge Angela Tucker said that she's never gotten this volume of calls and had to have this level of security in the courtroom in her 13 years on the bench. Court documents say Anthony stabbed Metcalf during a fight. When an officer arrived, court documents say Anthony told the officer, "I was protecting myself." Collin County District Attorney Greg Willis spoke after the hearing.
The judge has made the call, and so what's important is what's next.
And about this too, I've been seeing this ever since this video had actually came out. Like probably like, I don't know, man, like fucking like 3-4 o'clock in the morning. I don't even know when I even seen this, But I'm starting to see people's reactions. White people, all right, so so-called white people, all right, we starting to see them get mad and be like, well, how can he get out? Why was his bond down to $250,000? Like, how can we just let somebody like this just go out in public and stuff like that? Hey, man, y'all been slaughtering, rape, robbing, murdering our people for hundreds of years. So when a case like this pops up, hey, man, it is what it is. It is what the fuck it is, man. It is what it is. Y'all just, and like one of the videos I had seen, one of the reaction videos I had seen, it's always white people. It was like, oh, I can't believe, like what I said, like I can't believe that they, actually go out there and do that. Like, how can you actually just, let this person into society? This is not right and things like that. I'm just like, bro, like, y'all been doing this so fucking dirty. So like when the tables is turned, y'all don't know how to react. Y'all so used to killing, when y'all start getting killed, y'all don't know how to fucking react. And I ain't no carnal person, nothing like that. I'm just speaking on the case. All right, I'm just speaking. All right. When you got people that been oppressed for so long, and then when the roles get reversed, and this case end up popping up, and they say that it's self-defense. Well, why the fuck you got so much hate in your heart? You know what I'm saying? But that's just is what it is, man. That's just Jacob and Esau, man. That's just what's happening. You know what I'm saying? And they mad. They are really mad. They've been sending this boy, allegedly, they've been sending this his family messages, with black kids with knives going through their heads. Like, and like they, so like he got to up the protection around his house. He out though, you know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna continue, man. I don't be mean to say too much, like in between like this case, because we see this every day. People go TikTok live on this shit every day. But my thing is, you fucked around and you found out. Now you mad and saying, oh, but he did this to somebody and he was let out free. Y'all been getting let out free ever since we been here. Y'all can go smoke a whole neighborhood of so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans, get away with it, and then be out eating like the dude with George Floyd. Dude had went in there, had served a little bit of time and came back out. And then he said he should have put his He said he should have did what he did to him longer. Like he ain't put enough pressure on his on his neck. He should have been on his neck longer. And then they just freely just, you know, go back to what they doing in their lives. Hey, sweetie, how you doing? Then he go back to being a cop, going into the same field, arresting dudes and harassing so-called blacks every fucking day. But then when you got a case like this, then it's like, oh no, how can you do this? We gotta have an uprising against this. You know? You motherfuckers are stupid, man. Just stupid. This idiots, man.
I mean, it's our job to be level-headed, to be fact-based, and to follow the truth wherever it leads.
Anthony's father testified he's taking a leave from work because of the incident, and his wife is a stay-at-home mother with 3 other children. During the hearing, the prosecution brought up the fact that more than $400,000 have been raised for the Anthony family, saying a reduction is not needed because they have the funds. A big question in this case will be, why did Anthony bring a weapon to a high school stadium? It's a question that was asked of his attorney.
That's an understandable question, but it's not something that, frankly, we're prepared to even go into.
Now, in the opening statement to the media from that interview that you just heard, he led with talking about self-defense. Again, the court documents mention self-defense. We'll have to wait and see how that defense will be made in court when things pan out. Now, according to the judge, the terms of the bond.
And one more thing, let this be like, let's say if the white boy was Kamelo Anthony, and then the black, and then like the two, and then like the other, like Austin was the black dude. All right, if the white dude was to kill the black dude, right, allegedly was to do that, was to unalive the black dude, right, they will probably just be like, oh well, you know, he's not mentally developed yet, or just you know, they'll slap him on the wrist and be like, put him in a mental institution for like a month, and then he could be back out in the streets. His brain, he knew what the fuck he was doing, but y'all try to pander the y'all race. You know what I'm saying? Y'all try to pander, y'all try to pander like a motherfucker and try to cope, you know?
Our house arrest and ankle monitor, she told him to stay off social media, and he has to personally call her bailiff every Friday morning, not his parents, but him. And there's a list of other things that is set, and if he violates that, he'll return to the Collin County Jail.
So let me get this straight. People are mad at this judge for lowering the bail from $1 million to $250,000 for Kamelo, and now they're talking about she need to be condemned. What the fuck are we talking about? Everybody crying about the system, how it be broken, how they just throw young black males under the jail, and now the one time a black male is not put under the jail, everybody looking confused. Let's be real for a second. This man is only 17 years old. He have no prior charges. He is not a flight risk. He said this was an act in self-defense. I'm not saying he's innocent, but a bond is not about guilt. It's about whether you can fight your case from the outside. So the question is, what is it? Do we want fair treatment, or do we just want punishment? So was she wrong for not being a bot and showing some humanity? If this was the system we all asked for, being balanced and thoughtful, and not just throwing kids up under the jail, why are we trying to cancel this judge when all she's doing is doing her job? But people is trying to make it
right. Now you got the judge over there getting death threats. Cause you know she a black woman. She a so-called Jake. I mean, you know, not so-called Jake. She a Jake. She a so-called black woman. She's an Israelite. So what they trying to do to her? Did y'all, you know what I'm saying? Hey, it's them race wars coming. Them race wars is coming, man. You know? Them coming. You can just see it coming, man. From idiots, just because of idiotic shit.
race thing. Y'all let me know y'all thoughts down below in the comments.
Let me rewind that. They got now we got Jake over there in England that's bowing down as a kid to a false god, man. Y'all about Shmi, I was trying to tell these, man. Let me keep on going. This shit just pisses me off, man. This next level of you got these Palestinians pushing a doctrine, all right, on everywhere. All right, so now you got little Jakes doing this shit, man. Once that shit started affecting our people, that's when I really start getting highly upset. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is, man. They got judgment coming.
This is a joke, right?
You cannot have people living by the laws of man.
Now, you already know how I feel about this dude. Y'all know how I feel about this dude right here. But I'm gonna let the video play or whatever, because I believe it's the last video. Yeah, I just want to say this, man. Like, he talking about if we living by the laws of man. That's the problem. Because every time when you live by the laws of man, shit go left. What should you be living by? You supposed to be living by the laws of God. But you don't do that. That's why every single kingdom, every single wicked ass kingdom falls. That's exactly why every single last kingdom falls. And it's turned to shit, and it's turned to rubble, because they do not worship the true power. All right. They don't worship the true God, Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. You worship a white man, all right, a so-called white man named Jesus with blind hair and blue eyes. Or you worship a rock, a fucking stone, or a false prophet, a person who never even had anything to do with the scriptures. You know, Esau want to try to make his own law. You know, you get so-called white people want to make their own law and try to be like, you know what, we don't, you know, we can make our own laws, and then this all gonna work out. It's not gonna work out, and that's exactly why your whole society is. This is why society is falling as it is.
Are taught to share and to be a gentleman and to be considerate. Taught to turn the other cheek and be Christian. People that are wearing a business suit on their way to their job, living alongside people that are shooting and killing to get to the top of the heap.
Well, what have you done to get to the top? You use the sword. You have been raining and stealing people natural resources ever since you even came, ever since you even spawned, ever since the so-called white man has ever spawned. That's what has been happening, because he is the sword, man. He takes from everybody because he doesn't own anything. So he takes everything and then say that he owns it. So no, your so-called race, all right, your so-called race is the root of all evil. All right, you is the most wickedest race on this planet, and you gonna have to be stopped by Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai.
To the top of the hill.
For y'all that don't know what that means, that's just the truth. That's the true name of the son, the Father and the Son.
Can't have them living, because if we were to live by the laws of the jungle, it would look like Nazi Germany.
It already does.
If whites were living by the same rules as the blacks, it would look like Vikings. It would look like pillage and torment and ingenuity and innovation in brutality that they could never fucking conceive of. Systematic violence that they are not even capable of. But we don't live like that because it's wrong, because we've evolved past that.
They never evolved past it. They're still bombing other nations to this day. Y'all still destroying and unaliving, having airstrikes on other nations to this day. You can't act like you a fucking saint. This everything across the world is polluted and just turned to shit because of you.
return to that.
Y'all been doing it. What the fuck you mean return? Y'all still doing it.
And so, something here has got to give. And I don't think that we should be the ones giving.
Now, this video did come out a minute ago. This video down there came out like a little bit over a week ago. So almost like 2 weeks ago, like a week and a half ago. And that's it, man. So with that, Lord willing, man, that was just a quick little news update. I'll update another news when later on or sometime today, whatever I see is, that catches my eye, as it were. But hey, man, you see the times that we living in, man. Wickedness getting higher and higher by the day. That's just getting closer. We just getting closer to the day that Yahweh Shem Yahushua come, man, and get us the hell up out of here. So with that, give all praise, honor, and glory going to Yahweh Shem Yahushua, Shem Kakwadash. Until next time, Shalom.